So I'm here today to talk a little bit about questions and answers and provide a little bit of context as well. One of the people who is important in what we do and for various reasons is still important today is Sir Tim Berners-Lee. You can see here his proposal for the first World Wide Web page, the first HTML page, and some links for a bit more background on that. But obviously, we wouldn't be here today without his work. Maybe we'd be somewhere else, but at the moment, this is what we have, and that's a result of Sir Tim's original work. And today he's very interested in semantics and ontologies, and we'll talk a bit about that later. But he's definitely one of the guiding stars for what we do at Point Topic. Point Topic is also a data company. We sell analysis and opinion, but right at the base, it's about data and statistics. And there's lies, damn lies, and statistics, as the saying goes. And here's a video that talks a bit more about how information and data is misused often, and the contexts, and how it's actually very easy to make statistics bend to your will. So just to be aware of that, but I think a much more positive view about how data is used and can tell powerful stories in the world comes from Hans Rosling. And here's a collation of his TED Talks, and it's a great resource. So I'd recommend having a look at that if you haven't already, at least to get a bit more about how great statistics and data can be. And of course, this wouldn't be complete without the answer. And the answer is, as we know, 42. The late great Douglas Adams, author of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, gave us this answer. But famously, it's what is the question becomes the next line of querying to pursue, the next prompt. And in response to this, the Earth was built, the Earth was constructed, and is currently going through the process of trying to figure out what the answer is. But today, and so why are they important to Point Topic? Well, I think Sir Tim, because as I said, we wouldn't be here without him, but also because the other thing he believes in at the moment is, or is interested in, is semantics and ontologies. And therefore, I think that's important too. You don't really go wrong following Sir Tim's lead. And the other thing he's really interested in is privacy and personal data. And again, I think that's a really key element of the World Wide Web going forward. Hans Rosling is there because he is a better storyteller than we are. And that's something I think we could improve on at Point Topic. And I aspire in a way, to try and be Hans Rosling, but I realise that we've got a long way to go. And then Douglas Adams, because he's like Hans Rosling, he's a storyteller, but he's also a very deep thinker. And while we might have an answer, really what we want to know is the right question. And again, I wish we were better at this. We can answer a lot of questions though.
And the reason we've picked these three is because this is what we want to do. We want to link data. We want to tag it, structure it, put it in a relationship. We want to use it to tell stories. And a picture is worth 1,000 words. So we do a lot of maps. We do a lot of visual outputs driven by this data, driven by this nicely structured data. And we even want to provide answers and some questions, if possible, and questions that you, the client, ask. So Stories are great, very useful, but sometimes you want to have follow up. You want to know a different kind of crosstab, a different question. And the tools that we've built at Point Topic in the last couple of years are the way that we are trying to fulfill that mission today.
And what are we doing with this? Well, here you can see me scrolling through a knowledge graph, and this is visualizing the point topic ontology and some of the tagging that we've done to try and make a better picture of the broadband, ISP, operator, technology, infrastructure relationships that are going on in the UK today. And of course, this can be extended across other data, and we do that in our own backend. And you'll see more evidence of that coming through as we use this set of tools to better communicate with our clients, with our subscribers, with ourselves, in fact. Already it's stimulated a lot of interesting discussion just amongst ourselves. And it's in use today. So if you want to, again, have a demo, there's a link, and let us know if you want to have a closer look. And of course, we're always happy to show that off. So here we are sitting on a sea of data, and we want to ask the right questions. And something, or the current thinking about how best to ask the right question and get the right answer from your data is to have an ontology and to tag your data semantically. And this helps you put together a model of your domain, of your field, and in our case, that's broadband. And this is why we have a CTO ontology on our Git, and this is open source, and we welcome feedback, of course. But all this data is easier to handle if we tag it properly and we have an ontology that picks out and enables us to establish the relationships and how to ask the right questions. And ultimately, we can put together more easily sets of information. We break down the silos to an extent between the different data sets that we gather, the different methodologies we use to gather them, and we end up with a tool like the network valuation tool. Very valuable today, very apposite. Lots of people looking to buy networks or looking to be bought. And we've constructed from the data that we have, very broadband specific, what we think a network valuation might be and what that might look like. And this is independent of things like EBITDA and other traditional financial modeling elements. We're using very much the data that we have to arrive at some very interesting outputs. Again, just ask us if you want to have a look at this tool available to our clients now. But you can see here we've put together a bunch of metrics, methodologies nicely highlighted, and you can wander through that and figure out what you think you might or might not be prepared to pay for a network. But really, I think what all of this is heading towards for us is democratizing access to information. And by that, I mean, you don't have to be a prompt engineer. You don't have to write SQL queries. You just have to be able to construct a natural language question. And by that, I mean, what is enabled by chatbots like ChatGPT and so on, and large language models is a really good natural language processing engine. And for us, this is the big advance in terms of what we can do to improve access to the information we have. It's always been an issue for us. We have huge amounts of data. We have lots of different silos of input types. And what we've been doing here is give our large language model access to a bunch of proprietary data from Point Topic, and you can ask it questions. And as we saw earlier, if you ask the right question, you should get the right answer. And that's our hope for Point Topic and for our clients going forward. Thank you.